here. These are always fun to do, and I think today, hopefully, you'll get some new information here. I'm excited about it personally. The Meraki technology stack for us continues to improve, continues to be a more and more successful product in our offering mix, moving it really both down market and up market. So I'm excited today to hear a little bit from the Meraki team about some updates. And we want to try and share, Alex and I do, and please, Jeff and Amir, as we kind of go through some of our slides afterwards, you guys feel free to participate too, because we want to kind of talk, and after you do your updates, talk a little bit about what we've been seeing as some of the value proposition as we've been selling into some of these companies. So I'll go ahead and turn it over here for a little bit of a Cisco Meraki update. I think, Gabby, you're the one kind of hands over the baton, if you would. Does that go to Jeff?
Yep, that'll come to me.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff. I'll stop sharing my screen here, and you can take over.
Great.
Give me 1 second.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yep, got it.
Well, I'll just get that pulled up, guys. We'll just do some quick intros on myself as well as Jeff. You guys all know me. I'm Amir Higgy. I am the Strategic Sales Manager supporting CBTS. I've been supporting the account now for a little over 3 years. So for those who haven't met me, welcome. And for those of you who know me, how you all doing? I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. Jeff is my dedicated CSC, and he's working and supporting CBTS for anything from the technical side. So he's working closely with the engineering teams, the product teams, and really helping us kind of spearhead anything from a technology standpoint, as well as engineering and support best practices with CBTS. We'll give Jeff a quick second here to get the deck loaded, and then we will rock and roll.
We just sell technology. We don't use it very effectively, right?
Exactly, Matt. Well, perfect. Well, guys, I know we want to jump. So we did intros. If we go here, I want to share a few things with you guys, and I'm going to let Jeff kind of take the realms from here to give you all the product updates. But the one thing I want to highlight very much is that, as you guys all know, Meraki is a platform, and no one has adopted the Meraki platform better than CBTS. And what I mean by that is you guys are practically selling the entire Meraki solution, and you are the only SP, I can say globally, who has truly adopted this entire platform, and you guys continue to grow this platform to serve your customers. And I think it's phenomenal. And don't take my word for it, because the one thing that you'll see that's very, very, reassuring, and you should be absolutely reassured, is 83% of CBTS customers are buying a minimum of 3 products, and that's wireless, switching, and MX, right? You guys won, the NaaS was the top CIO review product of the year. If you guys have not been on LinkedIn, Meraki just completed a phenomenal case study. It is all over LinkedIn. If you have not seen it, please go read it. But it really showcases what CBTS has done, the incredible growth that CBS continues to see, not only with Meraki, but with you being able to sell additional solutions. And the one thing I would say CBTS has done a phenomenal job is leading and seeding with Meraki. And if you look at that second bullet point, 74% of CBTS customers who have Meraki are buying additional CBTS solutions. You want to talk about a land and expand, putting more money in your pocket, but also bringing more value to your customers and them truly adopting the story of CBTS. A truly amazing, amazing story. In addition to that, a couple other key bullet points: more than 15,000 Meraki devices deployed. The installation time, again, is just incredible, 30-day installs. And then again, just the constant innovation, to Matt's point, bringing in MG, bringing in MT, virtual MX, and Jeff's going to talk about a few products today. The last note I will lead with, the engine that you guys have built as far as the co-managed products, the OpEx solution, and the visibility and really the fundamental core value add of the solution is a true testament to the success that you guys continue to have. So with that, you should lead with NaaS with confidence, know it's a phenomenal solution, and it will definitely deliver and add value to your customers. Jeff, I'll pass it over to you.
And Amir, let me just give you a real quick thank you on that. we weren't, when we set this up, everybody, the partners are on it. When we set this session up, Amir asked whether he could say some nice things about us, and I appreciate that, Amir. We didn't set it up that way to begin with. So thank you for those nice words. It has been a phenomenally successful product for us, and I think to your point, the ability to come in and start to enable solutions on the LAN side allows us to expand in other ways too. So again, thank you. We didn't originally set it up that way. That was Amir's idea, so I appreciate it. So go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, and one of the things, Matt, I do want to add one other note here. And, and I like to be the nice guy, but in all honesty, Jeff and I cover 30 different service providers, right? And I tell Jeff every day, I wish more and more service providers would look like CBTS, because you guys are a true testament of what this product and how it should be positioned, how it can be sold, and how it should be showcased. And again, you guys are just doing a phenomenal job, and it's a blessing, and we're extremely thankful for the partnership that we have with you guys. So keep kicking butt, guys. You guys should lead very, very confident that you guys are the stallion when it comes to NaaS, and you've done a phenomenal job with the product in its entirety. So congratulations to all of you.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So I guess now on to the exciting stuff, right? The things that people are here for. So in May of this past year, we released a new license for the MX appliance, and that's the SD-WAN Plus license. And as you can see, what you're going to get with the SD-WAN Plus license is all the other tiers included. So the enterprise features are included, the advanced security features are included, and then you get the secure SD-WAN Plus license. And what comes with that? You get the advanced quality of experience with machine learning, the new smart software as a service options and segmentation. And I'm going to go through some of the slides here that kind of show what you get with that license. So in the advanced security license, you all are probably familiar with the SourceFire IDS, IPS that's included, content filtering, the YouTube for schools, web search filtering, the Cisco Advanced Malware Protection, and also we've added Umbrella DNS integration and Threat Grid integration as well. And then what you can see here with the SD-WAN Plus license features. So you get all those advanced security capabilities plus the new web app health analytics, the WAN health analytics, and the VoIP health analytics. So if you're very familiar with Meraki Insight, I'm going to talk just a little bit about that in a second, but those features are now included in the SD-WAN Plus license along with the Smart Breakout feature, which allows app-based VPN exclusions. So if you need specific apps to go over the VPN, you can have those, but if you need them excluded from the VPN, you get that with that Smart Breakout feature. And then on the bottom here, you're going to see a link, and what it's going to take you to is our documentation website. There's a nice chart that shows each of the 3 tiers of licenses for MX and what's included in it with a checkmark box below. So something very simple and easy to use, so that way you know exactly what you're getting with all 3 license tiers. And then moving on to Meraki Insight here. So what is Meraki Insight? And it's basically the 3 things that I talked about earlier today: the web app health, the WAN health, and the VoIP health. So as you can see, we have some use cases kind of over here on the right. It's like, what are users experience slowness in critical web traffic? How is this going to help by monitoring the web app health so you can figure out quickly where an issue happens, whether it's web-based, whether it's WAN-based, or whether it's part of your voice over IP product, and it can be any voice over IP product. It doesn't have to be Cisco Communications Manager. It can be other voice products as well, but something that you can get right from Meraki Insights. And then on top of that, we wanted to show you a use case. I don't know if you are familiar with Pane Mutual or not, but Pane Mutual is a Cisco Meraki company or customer now, and they had some issues with their Pane Mutual Insight, which is an internal application. And when this app would go down, it would take hours upon hours in order for them to figure out what was happening with it. And then now with them being a Meraki Insight customer, they were able to quickly identify where the issues happen when they're using this app, keep the app up, for longer periods of time, so that way they can do the one thing they need to do, and that's make Penn Mutual money.
Jeff, let me ask a quick question on this. Alex and I have just started to present some of the Insight capabilities to customers recently. We didn't have this necessarily, 6 months ago or so. And so one of the things we've been talking, we had a customer recently, about 400 locations nationally. But when we talked about Insight, we talked to them about the fact that, they could be out and taking a look at the health of how their network's getting to, let's say, Office 365, right? Or how, to your point, how a branch's applications are coming back to a data center. In the Meraki world, in the past, we didn't have that visibility. There's some other competing SD-WAN platforms that have that. But talk a little bit kind of some of the use cases, and you kind of have already, but what are some of the big things you've heard about the usefulness of seeing the health of applications? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, so I guess there's a couple things that kind of stick to me. Obviously, like you said, with the Office 365, right? Having a better idea of if you're seeing slowness in, for example, Microsoft Outlook, where is that occurring? Mm-hmm. And helping customers figure out where that's occurring is going to help them resolve the problem, so that way everyone can get a better experience. And I think that's one of the reasons why Meraki came up with the Insights platform is they want to provide an experience that is quick and reliable to resolution. And that's the thing that Meraki's built on is ease and simplicity. So
and I think one of the value propositions, right, because this webcast is kind of titled, how to sell LAN infrastructure, what these value propositions are, is that now our partners can go in, I believe, and start talking about, asking customers questions like, would it be nice if you had ability to take a look at some of your key applications and see those performances, whether those applications are in your network or outside? Well, who's not going to say no to that kind of question? And now we've got some great use cases and technologies to show them how on the Meraki line we can layer on this application intelligence, wherever they sit. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
And Matt, just to add one of the things that I think you hit the point on there, right, is I think with this particular application with Insight, the question you should ask every customer is what applications are most important to your business? And you're going to get, whether it's VoIP, whether it's POS, and whatever that customer is, just simply ask them, how are you monitoring those applications? And a lot of them are going to have, we don't know how to monitor them. Another huge beta customer for Meraki was L'Oreal. And L'Oreal has, thousands of stores across the globe. They put Meraki Insight as one of our early, beta customers. And what happened for them is that when a point of sale failed, they had no idea what the issue was. They didn't know if it was the ISP. They had no clue what application was causing that store to no longer be able to transact. They put Meraki in, again, a nice POC in several of these stores. The CEO of L'Oreal called Meraki CEO and said, I need this in every one of my stores. How quickly can I get it out? Because they had an issue again at this store. And within minutes, they were able to identify that it was the Square point of sale that was, again, timing out. They were able to make a single phone call into Square, and what took hours to troubleshoot was now resolved in minutes, saving them tens of thousands of dollars across the board. So, again, the use case is across the board. Ask what those mission-critical applications are, and we now have visibility into them and can set latency and jitter parameters so we can actually even be notified before those particular applications even fail, prior to, again, to minimizing, again, downtime and making sure that they're always up and running.
Yep. Well, thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, no problem. So another thing that we are introducing today are the new Meraki MT, which is our cloud-managed sensors. So the T stands for IoT. And what do you get with the Meraki IoT sensor? And this is what I like to call Meraki's motif slide. We have these for all the products, but you're going to get a list of highlighted features for each of them. So you get that single pane of glass with these Meraki IoT sensors, up to a 5-year battery lifetime. They do communicate via Bluetooth Low Energy that you see here. Gateway is auto discovery. So something that's really cool about these IoT sensors, and I don't know if you used IoT sensors in the past, it was a big pain in the butt to get them up and running. You have to connect to your Wi-Fi. You have to download an app. you have to update firmware. None of this happens with the Meraki IoT sensors. As long as you have a Wi-Fi 6 AP or a Gen 2 camera from Meraki, they will automatically connect to the dashboard when they are powered on. You do get 5 days of local storage on these, just in case if you lose connection to the dashboard, and they are end-to-end encrypted. And what are those sensors? So those sensors are the MT10, which is our temperature and humidity sensor, the MT12, which is a water leak sensor, and then the MT20, which is our intrusion detection sensor. And then what is the use case? So one of the main reasons why we came up with this was trying to protect your data center that you have inside your, your data center network closet, that kind of thing. So you can kind of see here, there's a Wi-Fi 6 AP, there's a Meraki MV camera that are used as a gateway, and then what are we doing here? We're detecting opening and closing of the door for that networking closet. You can see on the racks themselves that we have the open and close to see who's entering and accessing those servers or networking equipment. And then also these devices cannot get hit by water, so that's why we have that water leak detection, and then also the temperature and humidity sensor. So these devices cannot get hot, so we need to make sure the HVAC is working in there at all times. And the use cases are kind of limitless. I mean, we've seen people putting them on refrigerated trucks. We've seen them, for refrigeration inside a restaurant. So there's a lot of different other use cases out there for these sensors, but this is kind of the main one where we're focusing at right now. And then how do they connect? And like I said earlier, it's via either one of the Meraki M or Wi-Fi 6 AP. So if you don't know which one is a Wi-Fi 6 AP, it ends in 6. So 46, 56, 76, 86, all of those are options. And then you can see the MV Gen 2 camera. So any of the MV that ends in 2. So MV12, MV32, MV72, those are options that can be used for gateways for these sensors. And then what's included, and you can kind of see the different sensors here and everything that's included in there. You're going to get the mounting brackets. You're going to get 2 AA batteries for the top 2 and then 1 for the bottom. And then the screws and everything that's included inside the box. There are some optional accessories too. You can tie in an additional water leak extension cable to that. So you can daisy chain up to 2 if that one isn't long enough for you. And then also we have a USB power cable available if you don't want to use batteries. And then how do you get notified? There's basically 4 ways to get notified of an issue. We have the webhooks available for the product, email alerts. You can see a sample one there where the temperature reached a critical point. It sent an email alert out, and then on the right-hand side, there are 2 options via the Meraki iOS or Android app, or an SMS text message to get alerted in the event of an issue.
And Jeff, I got a quick question for you here. We're going to talk a little bit about the API later on, the Meraki API in general. When you say webhooks, you mean that these events are coming out of the API?
Correct, yeah. So webhooks and also API access will be available to receive alerts from these IoT sensors. Correct.
Because one of the things that has excited us when we go out and present the kind of Meraki value proposition is that when people and organizations are looking at a next generation based cloud platform, the API question's coming up more and more because people want to be able to facilitate either third parties writing applications or their own internal people writing applications. So I think I hear you say these IoT sensors are going to throw those same kinds of alerts. So I could hook into your API, and every time somebody opens a door, I could even have a camera grab a picture of those and bring those back into my environment, these kinds of things. That's all available as for building new applications in this environment. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct, yeah. And actually, one of the use cases that we saw when these were first released was that exact same thing. Somebody who had an IoT sensor, they opened the door, the MV cameras took a photo of them when they walked through, and then it sent a message to, the the people that in WebEx Teams and also in text messages, so that way they could see who entered that door at that time.
Okay. This whole idea, I think, of a single pane of glass, ubiquitous infrastructure inside your LAN, a single pane of glass to view it, and then these APIs, robust kinds of tools to build new applications, I think, is what excites me about where these next generation solutions are going. So, okay.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's a great update. Gabby, did we get any kinds of questions or anything come out while we were doing that?
I currently do not have any questions. As a reminder for everyone, if you would like to submit questions, you can do that through chat or through Q&A, and I'll continue to monitor it throughout. Okay,
all right, fantastic. I'm going to share my screen here again. And Jeff and Amir, please feel free to join us here. Alex is going to join. Alex Broom is on my team. I think many of you who've been on these webcasts, he's one of my senior solutions engineers, very familiar with the Meraki side. He actually was part of our kind of tier 4 engineering team who helped launch this product going back 4 to 5 years ago. And about a year or so ago, Alex asked to kind of come over on the more customer-facing side. So I'm always glad to have Alex join us here.
Thanks, Matt.
The first thing I kind of want to bring up here is I think one of the things that we've been seeing in the marketplace, kind of again, the question is how do you sell this technology, or, what's the value proposition? I think for me personally, when I would go in and talk to a customer, 3, 4, 5 years ago, they oftentimes just looked at their technology stack, particularly their LAN side technology stack, as just some cost anchor. It wasn't there anymore to make sure it was like, just could I make some applications work and could I get to the internet, right? It wasn't that big of an enabler. But we're now running into customers more and more that the LAN stack, from that WAN edge, that SD-WAN edge, all the way through, whether it's security, Ethernet switches, access points, IoT sensors, these new things happening, cameras, they're becoming enablers for their business. Alex, talk a little bit about, some of the folks we've kind of run into, particularly on the retail side, where, how they look at the technology stack more as an enabler than they used to. What's some of your experience there?
Yeah, I think that's exactly, my experience. Part of it is just that, the decision-making power about what kind of technology you're going to buy has moved, a little bit further away from the traditional IT structure. And we want to get value out of the things we buy, right? Every dollar counts. The budgets are tight. And I think what we're seeing is that, in order to be competitive, in order to really deliver a solution for a customer, you have to first do more than just deliver a piece of hardware, right? It has to be more than just a box, but it's also got to be intuitive and easy to use and enable you. And you're going to see some more detail here on other slides through things like the Meraki API, but enable you to, get actual business outcomes out of the technology. Yeah. So it's more than just, okay, show me some fancy reports and some data. It's how do I take all this information that's available in, either the cameras or the sensors, as kind of mentioned before, but even on the APs and the switches, there's actual data there, data about applications, data about performance, all types of things, how guests are using the network. And if you can gather that data and consume it in a meaningful way, whether that is through, in-house custom reporting or linking to a third party, that can actually drive business outcomes. You can make business decisions based on that data that you didn't have access to before. And I think that's really the story. That's where we're starting to see customers ask for. They want that. They're saying, I need to refresh my network, but it's got to do more for me now than it did in the past.
Well, I think what's in there when you say that, it makes me bring to mind too, because oftentimes we come in and they also want it to be simpler. Right. And so I think in today's world, when we think of the great applications or use cases, it's not only simpler, but it's more powerful. And so this idea too that, we run in on both on the retail side or anybody with multi-locations is what's the store of the future? What's the branch of the future? how do I bring up let's say I'm a business that's acquiring other companies. How do I bring them on and bring them to a standard simple template, yet gives me all the power I need? So for us, I think in our conversations the last couple of years, it's been exciting that IT people are now thinking of the entire technology, the LAN infrastructure stack in particular, is how do I make a repeatable, more powerful platform because it's enabling the business outcomes I want before in ways that I didn't have to worry about. So to me, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, again, part of it is that, in the past, you could do a lot of really cool, fancy things, but they would take a really long time. They'd be really complicated to set up. And these new technologies, particularly the Meraki stack, it's just easy to use. And even integrations into third parties that are building their own applications that are specifically designed to work with this LAN infrastructure are easy to set up and use. And I think that's really key.
Well, we've had that in the retail side, right? The API, we're going to mention API later, but we got here. But the idea that this API is available, because normally you think of Cisco, I don't think in the past of Cisco as an open environment. I think of Cisco as a closed environment, right? But the Meraki through this API is a very open environment. And so, for like when you're talking and going in and we're talking about Wi-Fi, suddenly marketing can be involved in this Wi-Fi conversation because there are people now who are starting to write applications that when I walk into a store, the Meraki gear knows that application just walked in on my smartphone. It can drive information or offers to me, these kinds of things. So yeah, this idea again of technology enabler, Meraki's broad base of technology in their API, I think has never been more interesting. So. I want to talk a little bit about security too, and I know you've had a big background, Alex, on the security side with us. Talk a little bit about how your security conversations have been changing over the last, year or so. I think that's been something that's been happening to us.
Yeah, I think the big thing right off the bat is that as SD-WAN has started to, really pick up in adoption, we've had customers that are looking for new ways to secure their environment that don't involve backhauling all their traffic to a data center for a variety of reasons, right? Applications are living in the cloud. They're SaaS applications that, you don't host them anymore. There's other reasons as well. I mean, IoT, right? If you have a bunch of IoT devices in your environment, you need security closer to them. IoT devices they're great, but they can be a risk that you need to protect yourself against, particularly if they're not managed by your company, if you didn't build them with their third-party device. So I think there's two things that customers are really looking for. One, they want a next generation security stack, and they want it to be in a location that will give the clients a consistent and secure user experience without adding, latency and cost of taking their traffic back to the data center.
Yeah, and I think we got PCI compliancy up here too as well. Is that back to that idea of business outcomes? When we go in and talk to a customer, 2-3 years ago was what firewall do you want at your edge, and you just walked away from it. Now it's about what applications are running across that, which applications are running site to site, site to data center, site to SaaS. What's VPNing? What kind of folks need to VPN into your network? And then what's that security fabric need to do to support those applications moving across it, as well as compliancy like HIPAA or PCI. So again, I think for partners out there, as they go in and start to ask customers questions about, what does their store of the future or branch of the future or data center of the future look like? What are the new applications? What are the business outcomes they're trying to get to? And then what are their concerns about their current security platform to be able to handle that movement to the future? And I think, CBTS and Meraki, we've got some pretty interesting solutions we can bring to bear on the security side now. So,
yeah, I think this is an interesting time, really this whole last year. When you go out and talk to customers, one of the questions you should always be asking them is, how have you handled your security posture with COVID?
Yeah.
All your employees, they don't sit in a physical location anymore. And although we've got the MX device pictured on screen, that's usually something you would put in a corporate environment. We have customers that have small MXs that they send to their employee's house. Yep. And then they can provide secure VPN access from the employee's home back into their network. We've also got customers that you can kind of see on the screen there that this integrates with Cisco Umbrella, and that provides a consistent security posture regardless of where your user is. That it can be client-based, and you can have people out in Starbucks or in the park using public Wi-Fi, and they get the same web filtering that they would get in your office. So I think there's an interesting component now, particularly maybe more so than last year, which is that all companies, if they're not currently reviewing their security posture, they should be.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned kind of working from home, and we were talking about this before the event started. We were talking about 10 minutes before we were on the WebEx session. One of the things that's in beta right now with Meraki is taking the the Cisco AnyConnect VPN client, which has been an industry standard, and bringing that its connectivity into the Meraki fold. It's in beta right now, and the team expects probably by mid-year next year to be released general availability. This is me talking. This is not formal Cisco talk here, but I'm excited to see that come in, because the Meraki line in the past, if I wanted to have a desktop VPN into the environment, I had to use L2TP, and not as always easy to do. And so, again, Meraki, I just continue to be impressed with Meraki's continued innovation. We saw cameras come out, we see IoT, they see the SD-WAN, the new SD-WAN features that are needed out there, the application insights, the insights into applications, and now addressing that VPN client. It's becoming, I believe, a significant player in the idea of kind of the secure access service edge, that kind of fabric. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting time on the Meraki side.
Matt, do you mind if I add one quick point on here, which I think is very relevant?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so one thing I want to bring up, and I think Alex said this about COVID, and if you look at a lot of customers now, they're being forced to very, very quickly adopt to more remote solutions. And I think you hit on this earlier too, Matt, is just the simplicity. So one thing I want to clarify here, guys, when you have, again, hundreds or thousands of people working remotely, one of the key attributes of Meraki is that CBTS can stage all these devices for these employees who have no idea about networking or IT. They simply mail it directly to their homes. They plug it in and give it power. They plug the WAN Ethernet port in the back of it, and they are up and running within seconds, right? If they're working with a VoIP phone, they can plug it in directly to the back of that particular device. So we've made it so simple, which many organizations feel that this is a complicated thing to do and it's going to be a heavy burden, but we've truly, again, made it to be very simple, very easy, both for the end customer, for, again, the end user. It creates a huge value add for your customers. So definitely something to consider, and definitely something to talk about is simplicity of getting them a secure connection remotely, as we do see this being a more long-term, drawn-out type of, new kind of work environment that we're facing with.
Oh, I appreciate it. Absolutely. Completely agree. We're going to talk a little bit about kind of this idea of visibility across your enterprise completely. And Alex, you helped launch this product, and you've been a network engineer for quite some time. Talk a little bit, share what some of the insights or the excitement that you see around of being able to, we showed a picture of the Ethernet switch down here. My understanding is you can literally see an Ethernet port on a switch that was in Australia if you want to. So kind of talk a little bit about some visibility and analytics, if you would.
Absolutely. This is such an exciting topic for me, because I kid you not, I think I could probably do 2 or 3 hours of demonstration in the Meraki dashboard of all the things that you can see and all the information that's available to you. And the great thing about it is that, unlike in the past, it's not spread out in different places. So when Meraki says it's a single pane of glass, it is literally one dashboard. You log into one dashboard, every report, every device, every port in your network, every AP, you can see every client. It's amazing. Not only can you see this wide berth of information, but it's presented in a way that is just very intuitive and very easy to troubleshoot. We have customers who, are small businesses that don't have a lot of technical knowledge. they're able to go in and perform some simple troubleshooting. We've got customers that have service desks, large retail customers that have service desks that, handle everything from the toilets being clogged to, networking problems. And really the amazing thing about it is that it's driven in a way that the dashboard compiles the information in a way that is readable. So instead of needing to, know specifics about how something works and what you should go look for, it presents information like which clients are affected by a particular problem. Up on the right, I kind of have a screenshot there of what a screen looks like out of Meraki Insight, which is a web application. So we can see, what does Office 365 look like for my clients at this location? Is there a problem here? Do I have any clients that are affected by this problem? When you use Office 365, you literally connect to dozens of web servers. So, it can be a complicated thing to troubleshoot without visibility, but you need to have visibility into things that it makes sense. It can't just be a barrage of information all at once. It's got to be presented in a clean and efficient way, and the Meraki dashboard does that just so well.
I think for partners then, because again, the title of this is how to sell this kind of solution into that customer base. Meeting with your customers and asking them about their visibility into physical equipment, physical ports, their visibility into applications as it runs across your network, their visibility into circuit performance, packet loss or jitter across these kinds of circuits. That's all part of one that we do in the managed service. We take these same APIs, link them into our network management system, EM7 and ServiceNow, and we use that to support our customers, right? Our customers, we have many customers who never even touch the dashboard. We take care of everything for them. But we do deliver this in a co-management way so that your partners out there, your customers have same visibility into those things. So my advice on the partner side is to kind of poke away at, when you're talking to that IT person that's responsible or has been for the LAN infrastructure, kind of that stack of technology, past the edge, including the edge now, what are the things they wish they had? What kinds of visibility do they wish they had? What kinds of alerts do they wish they had coming out of it? What things do they want to do with new business outcomes related to the stack? This is really where Meraki shines in being able to be this, this ubiquitous platform across every device. So.
Yeah, one thought to finish here is that I think within 4 or 5 clicks, you could tell me that you have a particular user in your environment that's having trouble connecting. You don't even have to tell me what they're having trouble with. You could just say, I have this user, they're having trouble connecting to my network. I could locate them in the dashboard by finding their client very easily, and within 4 or 5 clicks, I could tell you when they connected, every single time they tried to connect in the last month. I could tell you which times were successful and which weren't. I could tell you when they weren't successful connecting, why. Was it a wireless authentication problem? Was it a switch problem? I could then tell you what applications they use. And then lastly, I could tell you of the applications they use, which ones are they experiencing problems with on my network. That's all like 5 clicks away. It's just amazing how quickly you can really get to the root of problems on your network. And previously, that would have taken hours to do. I think Amir said before, just troubleshooting one application at a location for L'Oreal used to take hours. And after they implemented the solution, it took minutes.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I think some of out there, the partners know CBTS, we're a relatively large VAR. We do about $1 billion a year in total services of both selling equipment and managed services. And Cisco's not our only line. We sell HP, we sell Aruba, we sell a number of other providers out there. Meraki is the standard of a single pane of glass, a ubiquitous interface, an API that talks to every single device. Everybody's trying to catch up to this kind of thing. So that's what excites me. Again, what Meraki, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not usually this way, but the Meraki line has done such a great job in the last year or so, adding on and innovating here that it's been pretty impressive. So the last thing I want to talk about here really is this API, and we've been talking about some of that. But maybe even Jeff or Amir, I know you guys, you run into a lot of stories about how people are using some of these new, API calls, IoT camera to build new insights or business intelligence. Do you have any kind of stories? This one here is about being able to take a picture and seeing whether somebody's wearing a face mask or not. But do you have any, stories or things you could share with some of the power there?
Yeah, I'll share one that was pretty cool that we saw a few weeks ago. This is for the fast food chain. Obviously, with COVID, we've seen a huge spike in curbside pickup in a lot of fast food chains, specifically in drive-through. And what some of these customers are looking for now is they're working with every angle, and what they're doing is working with these particular fast food chains to do license plate recognition alongside digital signage. So as you keep rolling through whatever that restaurant is, they're going to keep track of what you're ordering, and as you pull up, that digital signage will start to transform based upon your buying patterns over your course of shopping at this particular, fast food chain, which is just really, really cool and also frightening at the same time. But
that's right.
It's amazing how you see APIs and how many, many different verticals are really utilizing them in very cool, interesting ways. It's pretty amazing.
That's a great story. Alex, anything you want to kind of add to this as we start to wrap up?
Yeah, I think that story is really, highlights the reality is that this platform, being an open platform that allows you to, present all this previously unavailable data to these applications, is almost limitless. The things that are going to come out in the next 2 or 3 years that developers are going to come up with, I couldn't possibly pontificate on what they would be, right? It's just going to be amazing. And this is, I think, the value propositions to customers is, there's a lot of cool things we can do today, but this platform is going to be there for you and enable you to continue to innovate for a long time. Just because you have a great new idea to develop an application, and now you need to figure out what the networking requirements are and go hook it up. Well, if you pick another platform, that might involve an upgrade or completely scrapping that solution and buying a new one. With the Meraki platform, you can rest assured that you're going to be enabled to build whatever you want and go out there and get the business outcome that you want out of it.
Yep. Gabby, as I kind of wrap up here, with any questions that came up that we need to answer?
No, we had a couple come through, but Jeff already took care of them. So
cool.
Good to go. We're being really efficient today.
Oh, multitasking and doing something with chat there. That's great. All right. Well, hopefully this has been useful to the partners out there. As always, I think the partners that are on, that at CBTS, we try and be very consultative, right? We want to be really ultimately, we talk about in all our internal meetings, how do we make you as a partner hero? And so we're here, Alex and my team are here to help in any way to kind of consult, to talk to your customers. We also tell our partners we know how to stay in the swim lane. I know you guys partners have a lot of different products out there, and maybe you're talking to somebody about RingCentral because you think that's the best UCaaS for them, but they need possibly some LAN infrastructure. Even though, yes, we do UCaaS, we know how to come in and help with that Meraki solution, let's say, that LAN solution, and even help you sell that other UCaaS, et cetera. So hopefully you find these webcasts insightful. We've been doing quite a few of them here through in 2020. I think, Gabby, is this our last one for the year? Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, so you guys will be seeing some new schedules coming out. Any insights you want to give us out there, partners, about what you thought has been useful or you'd like us to do different, or new subjects you'd like us to talk about, please pass that on. So my big thanks to the Cisco folks, to Jeff and Amir. I appreciate it. Alex, it's been blast here the last couple of times we've been working together. Gabby, as always, thanks in 2020 for doing this. So thank you, everybody. Have a great holiday season, and we'll see you after the first of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.